Following are several highlights regarding the proposed budget. First, the general fund unreserved fund balance ratio for the 2015 to 16 fiscal year budget, following the special meeting held by the Commission to reconcile, is 21.54%. This is higher than the fund balance of 18.55% for the audited 2013 fiscal year and comparable to the fund balance of 21.75% for the audited 14 fiscal year. Secondly, the recommended budget was built upon a 1.11% decline in taxable value for the upcoming fiscal year, which follows a 4.3% decrease in taxable value for the current fiscal year. Thirdly, as outlined within the materials, the city continues to deal with the impact of significant losses in state revenue sharing that have occurred over the past decade. At its highest point, the revenue sharing received by the city was $2.1 million, and the recommended budget reflects revenue sharing at approximately $1.55 million. Fourth, the Police and Fire Pension Board has initiated a number of positive changes and assumptions that will in the long run help to stabilize the pension fund. The proposed budget includes a 0.3233 millage adjustment to the millage for the Police and Fire Pension Fund for the fund to continue to meet actuarial requirements. Fifth, the Water and Sewer Fund is performing in accordance with expectations. The proposed budget proposes a 3.04% increase for the typical customer using 700 cubic feet of water per month. Sixth, a modest capital outlay plan has been proposed, which includes the completion of a structural analysis of the carbide dock, ash tree removal activities, as well as other tree planting activities, engineering design work associated with the reconstruction of West 4th Avenue, the enhancement of the sidewalk replacement program, the completion of a study that may support the ultimate establishment of a walkway along the power canal, roof and structural improvements at Canes Rink, and the replacement of the roof on the George Kemp Historic Home. Similarly, a modest schedule for capital equipment purchases has been proposed for the upcoming fiscal year, including the purchase of bulletproof vests for police officers, safety equipment for firefighters, building department books as mandated by the state of Michigan, snow tubes for the Sioux Seal Recreation Area, a bubbler system for George Kemp Marina, and various water and sewer as well as stock and equipment purchases. In full, the total revenues for the 2015-16 fiscal year budget as proposed are $24,088,900, and total expenditures are proposed at $23,860,500 for a net amount of $228,400, by which revenues exceed expenditures. In closing, I would like to again express my appreciation to everyone involved in the development of the budget. In particular, I'd like to thank Finance Director Treasurer Collins for her efforts and constant dedication to the city, as well as Assistant City Manager Troyer and all the department heads and employees engaged in the process. Finally, the administration appreciates the work of former City Commissioner Bill Munsell, as well as the City Commission throughout the process. Accordingly, it's my recommendation that the City Commission take the following actions. First, that it formally introduce for adoption the proposed budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2015 and ending June 30, 2016, including proposed tax levies, utility rates, fee schedules, and general appropriations. Secondly, that it schedule a public hearing for Monday, May 18th at 7 p.m. on a final resolution for purposes of establishing a 2015 tax levy, maintaining the millage for charter operations at 16.8139 mils, maintaining the millage for waste collection at 0.5632 mils, and increasing the millage for the Police Fire Pension Fund by 0.3233 mils from 4.9152 mils to 5.2385 mils in order to meet actuarial requirements. Thirdly, schedule a public hearing for Monday, May 18th on the adoption of water and sewer rates for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 15 and ending June 30, 16, that would establish rates for monthly administrative charges, commodity charges, and capital charges for water and sewer users. Fourthly, schedule a public hearing for Monday, May 18th on a resolution adopting a fee schedule for the upcoming fiscal year that establishes various fees as set forth by the City Commission. And finally, schedule a public hearing for Monday, May 18th on the General Appropriations Act for the upcoming fiscal year that projects revenues and establishing appropriations for various governmental functions in the city's operating funds, as well as proposed equipment purchases and capital outlay projects. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And at this point, there are 5 recommendations. Those are 5 separate motions. Commissioner Gary.
I had some comments on the budget. Did
Sure.
you want me to wait till next time, or?
No, you can
go
start
over
right now and then.
First of all, I just wanted to reiterate some of the things that Ollie talked about, and I got a couple pages. But this is Ollie's first budget, and I think he did a great job, and I commend he and Robin and Kristen and everybody else that worked on it. And I would highly encourage anybody to go out onto the city's website and look at the budget and talk to the commissioners or contact the city manager's office and see how your city has been responsible with the funding that it gets. I also want to note that it's a balanced budget. As Ollie said, there's a little bit going into the fund balance. And the city has maintained or increased essential services during a period when we've had very slow economic national and state recoveries. We've had a decline of revenue sharing, which is our share of state tax money that's supposed to come back to the communities. We've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in that pot of money. Our property values in this community have declined 6.11% since 2012. Property tax revenue is the largest source of revenue the city has. Interest earnings on our money that we have are negligible. There's really nothing. City Commission will sometimes impose goals that aren't part of the normal operation. This year we were very prudent and didn't add a lot of money to the goal setting. But we've had 2 very difficult winters that were extraordinary in the last 10 years. Cost us millions of dollars in repairs, thousands of dollars in overtime keeping the streets clear. We've kept, with prudent and necessary capital purchases, as the city manager mentioned. We've funded construction projects that were necessary. Also, Ollie has negotiated labor contracts, and we've had slight increases in labor costs. But all the while, we've maintained our general fund at self-imposed benchmarks, and we've improved the city's bond rating to A+. I think that's a testament to the fine job that the city finance director and Oliver and all the administration are doing. The one thing I wanted to mention, I know that everybody will look at this and say, well, our water rates are going to go up. But you have to understand the water and sewer fund is a proprietary fund, and it has to break even in and of itself. It's separate from all of the other finances of the city. So it has to be a self-supporting fund. Rates are only set to cover the complete cost of operation of that fund. So we've had very small increases in the last couple of years, and the increase this year, although will impact people's wallets, is quite small. And there are a lot of major factors that affect that. Water use affects the rates. Any debt that's related to unfunded mandates, all of the construction we've seen over the last how many years, Mr. Mayor?
Since 1994.
Those are mandated projects that the city has to do, and they don't come with the funding from the federal government that's mandating it. So we have to cover the debt inside of your water and sewer rates. Also includes the cost of operation of improvements. And it is affected by weather and breaks and overtime and everything else. So that is calculated into that rate. So I think the city's done a great job of monitoring those and projecting how much those water rates need to be from year to year. Last year we had 3 areas that we wanted to watch, and former Commissioner Munsell agreed and helped point out these. One was the Police and Fire Pension Fund. And I think that if you look at that closely, it's only going to be corrected through long-term solution. The fund has been there for a while, and it's for the retirement of police and fire, obviously. The only solution really is decreased reliance on the fund, looking at other options for new hires, I think, increasing contributions and increasing the earnings potential of the fund itself. The level of funding bottomed out in 2012 was 48% funded. If you looked at it from a snapshot, this year it's 54%, so we've had great improvement. And it's been managed through lower pay increases for the police and fire participants and greater returns than expected. So I think that's done well, and I think that we'll still monitor that, but it's going in the right direction. I think the city's done a great job at that. Overtime always needs to be managed at a minimal level by departments. Maintain minimum staffing levels. I think the city needs to continue to focus on internal efficiency and streamlining of operations. And then the other third area that we wanted to keep an eye on was parking garage. And this past year, we were able to fund quite extensive capital maintenance program and a study of about $70,000, did a lot of improvements. And the city finance director was able to refund the bonds that we had on there, and that will save over $500,000 in interest. Projections have been forecast, put together by the finance director. It includes all the operational costs, plus $750,000 in capital maintenance. And the parking garage will be paid off in 2027, which is only 12 years from now. So I think we have an idea of what the cost is, and it's manageable, and continue to keep an eye on it going forward. And I think in the future years, I like what we've seen in the past few years, especially when you look at the capital planning process that the city engineer put into place. It's a good model of forward thinking, and I think from a finance direction, we could do that with our budget. I don't know if we can actually pass a 2-year or 3-year budget, but to start planning and thinking a little bit more long-term than we do from year to year. It's a little bit difficult when our funding sources are year to year. But and I think also when the city years ago put together a committee of local people that were interested in the city and had some good ideas. They came up with the guiding financial principles that we should follow, that we are continuing to follow. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to put a similar panel together, whether it's internal or external, to make sure that the city is going in the right direction for the long term. I think that with the regionalization of communities, we have 83 counties in Michigan, but we have 1,400 small units of government. And I think that we need to continue to regionalize a little bit, and we're, I think, poised to help out some other communities with services. So, but all in all, I think the budget was great.
Well, thank you very much for that synopsis of the budget process and the results. And I certainly thank you on behalf of the commission for taking the time to look at that budget and make those kind of comments, because ultimately, I think we all feel that the administrative team, in the financial obligation of the city, they've just done an excellent job, and will continue to do that kind of a job, you know, for the city of Sault Ste. Marie on funds that don't appreciably get any larger from year to year. So it's important that we go through the process. And again, thank you to former Commissioner Bill Munsell for leading us through that budgetary process, and thank you, Commissioner Gary, for sort of giving us a synopsis of the whole thing so that it's certainly understandable the way you put it together. So great job, Commissioner Gary.
I make a motion to adopt the proposed budget for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2015 and ending June 30th, 2016, et cetera, et cetera.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes. Motion carried. Thank you. Commissioner Gary?
Can these be one, or are they all?
Yes,
five
one
separate,
through, no, 5 individual.
I'd make a motion that we schedule a public hearing for Monday, May 18th, 2015 at 7 p.m. in City Commission chambers on a final resolution for purposes of establishing a 2015 tax levy as described by the city manager.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Motion carried. Item 3.
Make a motion we have a public hearing for Monday, May 18th, 2015 at 7 p.m. in City Commission chambers for adoption of the city water and sewer rates.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Motion carried. Item 4.
Make a motion to schedule a public hearing for Monday, May 18th, 2015 at 7 p.m. the City Commission chambers on a resolution adopting a fee schedule.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Motion carried. And finally,
Make a motion to schedule a public hearing for Monday, May 18th, 2015 at 7 p.m. in City Commission chambers on the General Appropriations Act for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2015 and ending June 30th, 2016.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Boswith?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Okay.
The next item under special orders of business is item B, from the Economic Development Corporation. Hold a public hearing for exemption of new personal property tax, PA 328, for Eco Marine Tech LLC. Approval of PA 328 personal property tax exemption resolution for Eco Marine Tech LLC. And approval of an incubator annex lease agreement with Eco Marine Tech LLC for a 3-year term.
Okay, thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. EDC Executive Director Klaus is planning to make a presentation regarding this subject matter.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners.
Evening, Kristen.
In a collaborative effort with the EDC, the Smart Zone, and Michigan Small Business Development Center, we're pleased to announce a new manufacturing startup company, Ecotech Marine. They will be, due to the nature of the business, we can't really house them in the Smart Zone. So we propose to put them out at the incubator annex or the old R&B building, the Carbide Dock building. I don't know, it's gone through many iterations of the name of the building, so however you want to refer to it. What we'd like to request is a 3-year lease at the building, and for them, just to help get them started, since we don't have any real incubator space. The other incubator is occupied, so we're looking forward to the growth of the new company. Do you want to talk a little bit about the business itself?
If Commissioner would like to do part of that model.
This goes on tonight.
Yeah, you're gonna do that. My two partners back here, George Cantella and Steve Ball. First of all, I want to thank Kristen for all the help she's done. And I can't forget Josh Billington back here with Small Business Development Corporation as well. They've helped us through this whole process in getting a business plan to make you really think about all the things that maybe our exuberance overlooks sometimes. And RF technology, radio frequency technology, is not something that's really new, but the technology that we're going to be utilizing in this little incubator building down here is new to the United States, and there is one other kiln like it in Canada, in Midland, Ontario. And what it really does, it replaces the technology that's being used, the old technology being used to dry wood. The heat that they use to dry wood sometimes takes, depending on the thickness of the wood, the species of the wood, sometimes it'll take months to dry wood. Well, what this RF technology will do, it dries the wood from the inside, much like microwave, but it's radio frequency, no worse than AM or FM that comes into your home on your radio. So, you know, it's very, very safe. That was the first question that Kristen asked me, is this going to be a safe technology? And it certainly is. And what it will do, we're going to be specializing in large dimensional wood, black walnut, abandoned logs that have been recovered from underwater, first growth timber, a lot of your hardwoods that were lost during the early logging days, because they were hardwood, they sunk, unlike the pine which would float. There's literally thousands of logs out there. We're still working through the mitigation with the Corps of Engineers on that. The DEQ is supporting us on that. But we're going to be looking towards a lot of other end product development through many of the logging companies, supply companies and so on. For instance, hardwood flooring, doors, the trim work that you see in here. Those kinds of things that take a long time to dry in a standard kiln when you're using regular heat. The carbon footprint with this technology is non-existent. We use electricity. Of course, there's a carbon footprint to produce electricity, but our use of electricity really is going to be in the form of radio frequency, where it dries the wood from the inside out. The old conventional kilns, where they're stacked with, you know, I would say spacers in between all the wood, a lot of times if you've built a home or a garage or anything, you'll get by a lot of wood that's warped, twisted, or cracked. This stuff comes out perfect. No cracking, warping, checking, or anything. It goes into this big chamber on a rail, and an 8,000-pound press comes down on it to hold it in place. And then a vacuum is created. And what the vacuum does, it reduces the boiling temperature of water from 212 degrees down to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Then the water is vacuumed out when the molecules are agitated and the H2 comes out both ends of the wood. Now, I mentioned 3 to 4 months for some of this wood. In a conventional kiln, this will do it in maybe 10 to 11 days. So it's revolutionary. Our F kiln technology has been around for plywood and massive timbers for timber frame homes on the West Coast, a little bit on the East Coast, but it's old technology that was invented in British Columbia, purchased by a company in the US, since both of them have gone out of business. So there's only one other kiln like this in Midland, Ontario. Penn State University wants to come up and use our kiln to test wood for the eradication of invasive species in wood that's being deemed garbage wood. You've got some of them in your city streets right now, the white ash, that are scheduled to be cut down, or I think you already started removing those.
Yeah.
Well, we're kind of rescuing wood like that. We can take that wood, phytosanitize it in a radio frequency vacuum kiln. It is sanitized, basically for overseas shipping or interstate shipping. Right now, if you cut white ash in Michigan, you can't send it out of state anyplace. You can't even bring it from the lower peninsula to the upper peninsula during certain times of the year. Now, white ash, the emerald ash borer right now is destroying all the ash trees. Ontario is really invaded. Michigan's finally just given up on it. It's in Wisconsin and Illinois, and it's rapidly, invading the entire North American continent. The other one that's even worse than that that's coming down the road right now is called the Asian longhorn beetle. It's not discriminatory. It doesn't go over to just white ash or oak. It goes after all the hardwood. So the future of hardwood in North America is at risk. Penn State was given a large grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture to find an alternative that will render this wood safe for export without damaging our environment. Right now they use something called methyl bromide. You may have heard about methyl bromide down in the U.S. Virgin Islands, where this entire family was poisoned by it when they fumigated a room below their condo. The 2 kids are still in comas. The dad is coming around pretty good. The mother is out of the hospital. But methyl bromide is what they use for phytosanitizing any wood products leaving the U.S. for foreign ports, whether it's pallets, wood that they encase things in, or even maybe logs or lumber or anything going right. Countries like Japan and China have very little of their own resources. We're looking at the possibility of sending white ash to foreign markets that's been phytosanitized. We've been approached through our partner in Midland, Ontario, from Louisville Slugger for baseball bats, pool cues, mantelpieces, flooring, on and on. So it's a real specialized area, and we're pretty excited about it. We're investing quite a bit of money in it, and we're going to need the help of the city in this building down the road here that needs a lot of work. And I'm not sure what the rent is. I haven't seen a lease yet or anything, but I know she's working with us on that one. So, do you have any questions about radio frequency vacuum kilns?
Anyone have any questions? So new, I don't think anybody have just impressed by the amount of knowledge you have on this particular item, because I know you're involved with the lakes for a long time. You've been in this area for a long time. So we certainly, as a commission, we try to grow wealth in our community, and that is manufacturing, so that anytime you have manufacturing startups, much like the Smart Zone, it brings wealth to your community, and we certainly encourage your endeavor, and we'll do whatever we can as a city to continue to make sure it moves forward.
Mr. Mayor, I thank you, and I have not met your new city manager yet, but he impressed me with the reading of the budget, and Don certainly clarified it for us. So you guys have a lot of work. I really appreciate the support you're giving us for this particular project.
Well, best wishes. Good luck.
So the new manufacturer will bring about a $250,000 community investment and 6 new jobs at this time.
Great. Commissioner Twardy.
Just a comment. I remember, George, when you came into my store about a year ago, and you kind of pitched this idea to me. It was supposed to be secret back then, so I didn't really share it. But it sounded like a pipe dream, and it sounded like you kind of knew what you were getting into, but you didn't really know what was going on, but you had you were really excited about it. So congratulations on bringing this to fruition. And I'm excited about them joining City of Sault Ste. Marie. So.
Great. We have 2, let's do the public hearing first, if there's any other comments. If not, we'll hold a public hearing regarding the application for exemption of new personal property submitted by Eco Marine Tech LLC, Limited Liability Corporation. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a comment at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to the City Commission. Commissioner Twardy. I'd like to go to item number 2 and item number 3 are 2 separate items.
Okay. So I move that we approve the included resolution approving an application for exemption of new personal property as submitted on an application made for the same by Eco Marine Tech LLC.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Commissioner Twardy. 3.
And I move that we approve the presented lease agreement between the EDC and the City of Sault Ste. Marie and Eco Marine Tech LLC.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
You bet.
Item number 4 is communications. A, from Mayor Bospas, City Manager Performance Evaluation Committee findings.
Okay, thank you. We'll let the city manager do your thing.
Thank you, Mayor. As commissioners are aware, the commission took action at its April 6th regular meeting to appoint the mayor and Commissioners Bauer and Twardy to a committee that was tasked with developing goals and objectives for me to complete during my second year of employment, to review and discuss changes that could be made to my employment agreement with the city, to summarize scores and comments received from the evaluation, to discuss my performance and convey all of the relevant information to the City Commission in anticipation of the adoption of mutually agreed upon goals and objectives. So those findings that were presented by the committee are first that the City Commission extend my employment agreement with the city by 1 year through June 11th, 2020. And secondly, that the City Commission adopt the following mutually agreed upon goals for the second year of my employment with the city. First, that the manager will continue meeting with the public quarterly at the Bayless Public Library or at an alternate venue. Secondly, that the manager will present the manager's recommended budget for the fiscal year 2016-2017, in which the minimum unrestricted fund balance is at the upper end of the 15% to 20% range established by the city's fund balance policy adopted December 2nd, 2013. Thirdly, that the manager will make progress in completing each of the goals established by the commission through its annual goal-setting process for the 15-16 fiscal year. And lastly, that the manager obtain an overall evaluation score for a second year of employment that is at or above 4 on the evaluation instrument used for this year's evaluation. As a note, the score I received on my performance evaluation was 4.806 out of 5. I would like, again, to let commissioners know I've genuinely enjoyed serving them and serving the community, and certainly express my appreciation to the department heads and employees that keep this city moving, and it's part of a team effort, so I certainly appreciate it. Accordingly, I would respectfully request that the City Commission take action to receive the findings of the City Manager Performance Evaluation Committee and approve the presented first extension to the employment agreement between the City of Sault Ste. Marie and myself, Oliver Turner. Thank you, Mayor.
Great. And I think as a commission certainly is aware, he's done just an exceptional job his first year, I believe, your first year coming to a close on June 11th, 2015. And I thought I would just include a couple of specific comments that different commissioners had and myself about Oliver and his management style and how he's done this first year. So I'm just going to read them off in no particular order, and I won't identify who did what or who said what. So, and then we can go to the committee was myself and Commissioner Bauer and Commissioner Twardy, and then you can have some comments if you like, and then we'll go to the full commission if you wish. So here, one of the he's very intelligent, but not everyone can use raw intelligence in practical applications, which he does. He is personable and approachable. Another is Oliver is doing a great job for the city. It's an honor to work with him. End of story. I think he called him Wally, but I'll call you Oliver. I'm very happy with Ollie's performance. Keep up the good work. As a commissioner and a community member, I cannot be more pleased with Oliver's first year as city manager. In other words, I'm a supporter of his attitude concerning bridging the gap to yes. The city and its residents, I feel, are very fortunate to have Oliver Turner leading our city's day-to-day operations. He has demonstrated excellent knowledge, integrity, good decision-making, trustworthiness, leadership, and listening skills, to name a few. And as a commissioner and a community member, did I read that one already?
Yep.
Commission, that's not only what they had to say, but we just took a few of the comments. Again, continue to do a great job this next coming year, I'm sure. Commissioner Bauer, do you have any additional comments?
Yeah, just a couple.
Sure.
It was actually more difficult to do this than you might think, because you don't want to just dwell on positive. You got to find. We tried very hard to find some negative aspects so that Ollie would have something to work on over the next year. And that was hard to do. I mean, you can't make stuff up. It was hard to really find areas that he needs to improve. And so you got nowhere to go but down, right? Honeymoon's over. but at any rate, no, it's been, there's a tremendous learning curve, especially for someone who is from outside Sault Ste. Marie, has no real experience with Sault Ste. Marie coming in. And I think that we all, to one degree or another, expected there to be, and we were all going to forgive any trip up that was of that nature. But actually, that never occurred. At least not to the best of my knowledge. If it did occur, it was so minor to any of us that we really didn't see it. So, at any rate, I move that the commission accept the findings of the city manager performance evaluation committee and approve the presented first extension to the employment agreement between the city of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan and Oliver K. Turner.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Commissioner Tuardi, you'd like to say?
Thank you. Well, first of all, I think it's really cute that you respectfully requested that we move this motion. And I ditto what Ray had to say. And I told Ollie when I took his evaluation, I said, I'm not going to give you all fives, because if I give you all fives, I'm not giving you anything to strive for. And I really think that's important whenever you're evaluating anybody. But as I was going through each item line by line, I was like, well, darn it, yes, he does that. Yes, he does that too. And so it became kind of frustrating. But so he got fives from me. And I'm very pleased with the work that he's done this last year. It seems like it's been very seamless and fits in great, I think, here at City Hall. And you guys work well together. So congratulations.
Appreciate that. Certainly feel fortunate to be here with this commission and the staff and the community. Feel very
Great.
fortunate to be here.
Well, we're glad you're here. Anyone else? Commissioner Lynn, you got it.
And along the way, you've picked up a couple nicknames, so.
That's not always a good thing. Spencer had some nicknames too. We won't go into that.
And as long as we're talking about Spencer, the notebook that he left, which gave a lot of information to our present city manager going forward, so you knew what the issues were, you knew the pros, the cons. I mean, he spent a good month and a half, 2 months putting that together, and I know you used it, looked at it, and referred to it, and that was a tremendous help. And if he may not be listening because he's a long way away, but Spencer did an excellent job on his way out, and it certainly, to Oliver's benefit, helped you going forward, and great job again.
Thank you.
So we have a motion and support. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage,
Yes.
Commissioner Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn,
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons,
Yes.
Commissioner Tuardi,
Yes.
Mayor Bospas.
Yes. Motion carried. Thank you.
The next item under communications is item B. From the Community Services Board, approve a bronze plaque and boulder to commemorate Henry A. Sherman.
City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. At the April 28, 2015 Community Services Board meeting, the board reviewed a proposal that was received from Mr. Dan Sherman, who is the great-grandson of Henry A. Sherman. As you know, Mr. Henry A. Sherman was the Sault Ste. Marie city manager from 1920 until 1948. The Sherman family is proposing the placement of a bronze plaque mounted on a boulder near the pavilion in Sherman Park. The plaque is intended to commemorate Mr. Henry A. Sherman, for whom the park was dedicated in 1931. Any cost relating to the fabrication, mounting, and placement of the marker would be a gift from the Sherman family. Accordingly, it's my recommendation that the City Commission authorize the placement of a bronze plaque mounted on a boulder in Sherman Park commemorating Mr. Henry A. Sherman. And as displayed on the screen, there's an example of what the text would look like, as well as what the eventual boulder would look like with the plaque on it.
Thank you. Commissioner Bauer?
I just wanted to say that if Ollie is city manager for 28 years, I'll buy a plaque for you too. So moved that the commission authorize the placement of that bronze plaque mounted on a boulder in Sherman Park commemorating Mr. Henry A. Sherman.
Support.
Commissioner Gage, did you have a comment?
Yeah, it was fascinating reading through some of the materials about the sweeping news articles about when Mr. Sherman was city manager. Just reading the history of this man, it's insane. So this is a really cool thing that's happening, and I want to say thank you to the Sherman family for bringing this into the community.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Lynn?
And if I'm still alive in 28 years, I'll share the cost. I'll be 101 and serving how many years in on the commission? Oh my God.
101.
It's moved and supported. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gage,
Yes.
Commissioner Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn,
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons,
Yes.
Commissioner Torty,
Yes.
Mayor Bosma.
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
And the last item under communications is item C. It's from the Downtown Development Authority. Request for authorization to apply for an MML Place Plans Implementation Mini Grant.
Okay, thank you. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. DDA Director Nepper is going to make a presentation on this subject matter.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening, Justin.
Thanks for having me. I'm going to pull up a website that we'll look at in a second here. So 3 years ago, I believe, late 2012 and then into 2013, the community engaged in a Michigan Municipal League funded Place Plans grant. We received a $50,000 grant. Actually, City Manager Nebel was pretty instrumental in helping us apply for that. The Commission and the Downtown Development Authority at that time chose a key critical site for what was called a place plan. It's the Maloney Alley area back, encompassing the old Claremont Trucking Building, about 2 or 3 acres of land. At that time, we had just lost the Sioux Co-op grocery store. The trucking building, of course, had been vacant for 20-some years. You have the old Steve's Music, I believe, is what people generally refer to it as a building, which is kind of like a blue wooden building, and then, of course, the big health office building on Ridge Street. And those 4 buildings have been vacant, and so we really saw that as a key area that needed to be worked on. Of course, the Downtown Development Authority has had this area as a key link between Portage and Ashland in our tax increment finance plans for over 20 years. So we went through a process, a design charrette. I know a number of you were there at the Ramada Ojibwe a few years ago. And over 60 or 70 community members came out and helped identify kind of 3 key areas in that plan that we wanted to implement. One was private development, mostly centered around mixed-use buildings that would border Osborne and potentially Ridge Street, commercial space as well as apartment space. And then also public space. A lot of people really wanted to see outdoor ice skating in the winter, as well as potentially in the kind of the master visioning plan, there was talk about a splash pad or a basketball or sports area. Kind of right behind M Bank was in that plan, and then the third area, which was not so developed by the Michigan Municipal League, but over the last 2 years we really identified the parking as still being kind of a key need for those businesses out there and in the back. So since 2013, the Downtown Development Authority as well as the city staff have worked hard to One, recruit developers. We spent quite a bit of time in 2013 looking for private property developers to come into town. What we heard a lot of was there was not enough research to show that there was a demand for new commercial space or housing from those developers. So the Michigan Housing Development Authority funded a $20,000 housing study, which came back showing we need over 400 units in the next 7 years downtown to meet demand. So that really got the ball rolling again on private developers' interest. We have a number of ongoing conversations currently with developers from Traverse City and other areas. And then on top of that, some other things kind of happened organically, but also as a part of this plan, we talked to people, we talked to business owners. We had two younger guys that bought the laundromat, which was really in disarray a few years ago. There was no hot water, there was no, the building was kind of unpainted in rough shape. Ryan Bennett and Brian, I can't remember his last name, from Newberry, purchased that building, really fixed it up, and that was in part due, I think, they saw the plans, they saw what kind of our vision for that whole area was, and so they kind of took a step to getting the ball rolling. Salvation Army, Dan Voss attended our place plans and said, hey, we're looking at that building and we want to not only buy the building, but someday have that whole Sioux Co-op grocery store look and feel like that place plan shows in terms of landscaping, in terms of the design. So they stepped in and bought that property, and then on top of that, the DDA worked with the property owner of the Claremont Trucking Building last year, and we funded a grant, a local grant to help repaint that old Claremont Trucking Building, and really with the goal of packaging it for developer. A lot of kind of what I believe and what a lot of people feel is that just like you stage a home before you put it on the market to sell it, we have a hard time with blighted properties or kind of abandoned areas looking attractive and making sense to a developer without having it look as nice as it can look. So the Michigan Municipal League approached myself and the city staff about 2 months ago and asked us to apply for an implementation grant. They said, you're coming along, but now we want to help you kick it into the next gear. So we put together, what the Downtown Development Board actually held a special meeting about a week and a half ago, and we really kind of massaged our budget around to find a $20,000 match for a $20,000 grant that would come from the Michigan Municipal League for a total of $40,000. And if you want to switch it to the screen, Robin. Okay, so this is the current kind of format of the land, and if for anybody that's curious, if you Google or do a search for Michigan Municipal League Maloney's Alley Place Plan, you'll find a 70-page document that's out there. This is the setup that kind of shows you the existing shape of the lot. You can see on Ridge Street, right across from the fire station, towards the bottom is M Bank with kind of the dark gray area. What we're proposing to do is kind of launch into phase one with this grant. Completely, like I said, funded with downtown development funds for the match. We would be launching a few basic upgrades, entering into an agreement with the property owner to seal coat, stripe, and crack seal the lot to allow it to be used in the summer for both continued public parking use, for tourist parking, as well as for summer festivals and events. We have definitely have a lot of demand in terms of events. We have Maloney's Alley and other of the local bars and restaurants that are working on growing a brew festival. There's talk, in a few years it'll be big enough where it'll take up that whole area. So that's one of the uses. I've been approached by one of our largest concert organizers in Sault Ste. Marie that works with the casino, looking for potential outdoor venues. This would be a great spot for that. We're looking at just fixing up the green space in general, planting flowers, mulch, cleaning it up, painting the old light poles, removing the old gate systems, fixing that up, and then one of the biggest things that the grant would go towards is to use it in the winter for a potential outdoor ice skating rink, at least on a, as we get the ball up and rolling on a small scale. Maybe it would be just for the month of December or something along those lines. But I'll show you, if I can get up to it, to remind you what our kind of overarching goal that was defined by the place plan when it was first made is that. Now, it was pretty elaborate at the end. You can see blue glass. The Michigan State University architecture team right at the end of the project said, hey, and by the way, let's add a giant glass-covered walkway to connect all of the bars and restaurants, which of course would be pretty cool, but maybe a little bit out of reach for a little while. But I'll zoom up. This drawing right here is your satellite view, which shows you where the public space would be. Now the blue is their glass that they added, but under that glass is what we would have as our parking mix. We probably wouldn't be adding a lot of that green space with this grant right away. We'd be leaving the parking as it is. But that gray area just above M Bank would be the site for the outdoor ice rink. Again, it would be something to kind of test the waters in terms of beginning to use the space as a public space. We'd still be able to have all the parking that we needed. But as festivals come up or as events come up, we'd be able to put that ice rink out there in the winter, and the DDA staff would be able to manage that along with help from the Parks Department. This drawing, you can see where our target area is for a large development. That white box is over top of the Claremont Trucking Building, and then just below that is the laundromat with a larger building footprint. So the property owners are interested, at least some of the property owners are interested in seeing this, adding public use, fixing up the parking lot will really help both the community and the property owners find better, really attract private developers that are interested in partnering with the community on this. So just to quickly run over the cost, what we'll be looking at is again enhancing the parking lot, the mobile outdoor ice rink walls, brackets, and a vinyl covering that goes over the parking lot, crowd control barriers that would keep the traffic out of the ice rink area in the winter, fixing up the gates, the light poles, turning on the floodlights. Another element that the granting agency, Michigan Municipal League, is really interested in funding is on top of all of the enhancements to the area would be to fund what's called a request for qualifications to find developers that would be interested in developing a number of sites, including the Claremont Trucking Building, the Old Stephen Music Building, the health offices. And so by enhancing both this plan but also coming up with just general cost estimates, a design that the Downtown Development Authority and the community supports for new buildings and their sizes and footprints would be something that this grant would cover. Again, it's more just to give people a more detailed look than white boxes at these plans, and that's what the Michigan Municipal League is pushing for, is to take it from conceptual to a little bit more close to reality. So that's what we're looking at. The grant is due in 3 days, so I have a lot of writing to do, but we have it mostly taken care of. What I'm looking for from the city, of course, the Michigan Municipal League is the Association for City Governments. They would certainly like to have the city of Sault Ste. Marie in support of this grant, even though it's funded through the Downtown Development Authority, and we'd like to have a letter of support or a resolution from the commission to go ahead and apply for it. I think it would be something that would be implemented this summer, going into this fall, and we already have estimates from contractors lined up. So, any questions?
Sure. Commissioner Gage.
It's more of a comment.
Sure.
I know that we've talked about this project quite a bit, the Maloney's Alley project, and honestly, I think that if we're talking about what's really going to grow our downtown, what's really going to be a beneficial thing that we can invest in for a lot of years to come, it's going to be Maloney's Alley. So many communities across the state in northern Michigan that are doing well and thriving have a city center like this. I mean, the studies about placemaking, it's just baffling how easy and how awesome they can be for a city. So I fully support even small incremental steps to get this done, and I really thoroughly applaud you, Justin, for chasing after this grant. So with that, I would so move that the City Commission issue a letter in support of an application to the Michigan Municipal League for a $20,000 matching place plans mini grant.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Any questions? Commissioner Twardy.
No, just a comment too, like going through your list of things that you'd like to accomplish this summer, just even by, all the studies show that, just even by adding more electrical, big floodlights and more greenery are going to cut down on the riffraff that's already happening back there. And so this is only going to be a positive thing. We also want to really encourage like safer walkway up to Lake Superior State. So I think that is going to help encourage that too. So
We're looking at everything. I mean, even not even on this grant, but I think the community will get involved. We have local schools. There's talk about maybe we can even add a little bit of public art in the area, but
Yep.
but making the place cleaner, making it lighter, brighter, it's going to really enhance the safety in that area, and I completely agree with you on that.
Just a comment or a question, I guess. The gates that are in the front, are you talking about totally removing those so that it would be just first come, first serve for
Sure.
folks to park?
In terms of our use, the parking fund and the Downtown Development Authority Board, what we're hoping to do is look, this lot, in order for us to invest a lot of the money into it, we're probably looking at potentially some permits and meters in certain sections. That's been discussed. It might take a little while for us to get that funding in place to actually get the hardware to do that, but that would allow us to plow it better in the winter. That would allow us to, properly maintain it in the summer. But to start with, it will continue to be kind of a first come first served lot as we get the ball rolling on that. So we're seeing it as right now we've been dealing with, to be honest, a property owner who's kind of bending over backwards for the businesses along the strip. He's paying taxes, but allowing the public to park there,
Sure.
at no cost, and really has had everything from lawsuits, threats, glass bottles that are broke there, or different little things that come up. And so for the city or the Downtown Development Authority to step in, help out in terms of the maintenance, but be able to use it for what we believe is the best for the community, we kind of see it as a pretty important mission regardless of the permits and meters. But
Sure.
I'd say over time,
I
maybe
guess,
my next year.
just a comment too, the parking signs, there are a couple of parking
Yeah.
signs that I think that we are going to remove in that area that we're looking at regular lots, that private lots, we're getting people just coming in and parking. If we wanted to move those to the front entranceways of that
Yeah,
large
yeah.
lot, if it happens, then
One
we
of
should be
the
able to use those
ideas,
signs.
there's a lot of different things we could do on the large gate systems back. I believe when Dr. Gansorn owned the property, there's signs that are quite large that say public parking that are faded. We'd probably repaint those. That's covered within this grant application.
Okay.
Repaint those, clean up all those rusted posts, but remove the gate systems and then on top of that, just as depending on where this goes in future years in terms of public use of the lot, there's one of those nice streetscape parking signs that was in the mole hole parking
Yes.
lot.
Yep.
And the owner there has requested that to be
That's what I'm talking about.
relocated.
Yep.
So that could certainly be looked at, maybe in regard to this lot. I think it was probably meant for this lot a long time ago, but the location made everybody think they should turn into the mole hole lot
Sure.
for public parking. So
Okay.
there's a lot we're going to do just to dress it up, get the signage updated, and make it look nice for public use.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? We have a motion and support. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Okay, item number 5 is the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Item A under the city manager's report would provide for the purchase of a 6-inch trailer-mounted pump. On this item, I've requested that DPW Director Morrow make a presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Evening, James.
Good evening. There's been a long time need in the water and sewer department to have a large pump that we can take to various places in the sewer system when we have problems. And this year we finally got around to budgeting for one. The big drive for having a city-owned pump of this size was when the big sewer collapsed on Easterday Avenue. You remember the big sinkhole that was in front of UP Tire a couple years ago. On problems like this, we had to borrow St. Ignace's pump. We had to drive down to St. Ignace, borrow theirs. The first time. The second time, it wasn't available, so we had to rent a pump from, actually 2 pumps from a vendor in Marquette to bypass the sewer. And we had to do this to maintain the sewer system to keep homes from backing up all along Easter Day Avenue. So there was a real need for it, and there still is a need for it. We're going to use this pump for cleaning our biggest sewers, like Easter Day Avenue, along the Power Canal, along Portage Avenue near the wastewater treatment plant. What we do is we'll actually block the sewer, pump overland, say 1,000 feet with 6-inch pipe going over the surface of the roadway and dumping in a manhole, 1,000 feet away. And when we drain that sewer, we can use our Vector truck to clean it. The sewer has to be dry for us to clean it properly, and also to inspect it. So again, we're constantly renting equipment, which is fine if we can plan ahead. But emergencies happen. The quickest we can get St. Ignace's pump, if it's available, is 3 hours. And sometimes 3 hours is a long time when the sewer level is going up in somebody's basement. So anyway, and we'll also use this pump to take place of our lift stations. For example, when we take a lift station out of service for maintenance, or let's say we lose power for some reason, this pump would take the place of that lift station. And we have a number of them, like behind the big lift station behind behind the Puller. There's a large lift station at Riverside Drive and Gardenville Road that does that whole area. There's another one on West 25th Avenue behind Big Lots that does the entire business spur. Now, this pump would take the place of those during emergency and routine maintenance. We reviewed the system needs and the lift stations, the sewer sizes and flows, and we also reviewed St. Ignace's pump, and we checked the rental units that we borrowed, or the rented, excuse me, and we wrote a set of specs. Now, most of the specs dealt with the pumping capabilities, gallons per minute, horsepower, how much pressure it can put out. But one of those items on our specs was we separated, and that was the silent kit, it's called. Now, the silent kit is essentially a big enclosure that goes over the pump itself, and it really reduces the noise. Now, these pumps are very, very loud. And in situations, in emergency situations, and let's say we use it for taking a lift station out of service, this thing is going to be running for upwards of a week outside somebody's house. And these things have a large diesel engine running wide open. There's no idle on them. They're just all or none. If you ever heard a semi run wide open, that's what it sounds like. Without the silent kit, it would really cause a problem for the neighbors. So in most of our places that we will be using this pump is in a residential area. So it's something that we wanted to put in the specs, but we know they're expensive. For example, the silent kit on our lowest recommended bidder is adds 30% of the price to the pump. Same pump, it's just a lot quieter. That's the only difference, essentially. So that's why we put it in a line item. Now, we opened bids, and we threw out the lowest bid because it just was too small. The pump, the engine in the low bid was 75% smaller than the pump we really spec'd. It's a 49-horse engine, and the pump we're recommending is an 85-horse engine. So it's just really apples and oranges on this pump. So we threw that out. So the second low bidder met all the specifications. $34,000 was the price without the silent kit. $44,400 with the silent kit. So we're talking, 30% more to make it quiet. However, I do think it's important for our customers. It's not for the guys. We got earplugs. But when we have this thing sit out somebody's house for a week, it really makes a difference. Now, we did go over budget on this pump purchase by $4,400, but our recent purchases out of this account have been well under budget, and we do have funds available. So that is my recommendation, that we for $44,400, we get the pump with the silent kit.
Okay, any questions of Mr. Morrow? Anything else?
No, just to expand on that point, I believe the purchases from this category were $9,500 under budget so far. So even with applying the additional $4,400,
We still have
it'd still
room.
be had $5,100. So I would echo that recommendation and appreciate the job that Mr. Morrow's done on this.
Thank you. Commissioner Lynn?
And I can tell you, Your Honor, if you didn't have the silencer, who's going to be getting the phone calls? It's going to be us, along with Mr. Turner. Your Honor, I would so move the City Commission authorize the purchase of the 6-inch trailer-mounted pump with a silent kit from Racino, is that correct?
Yes.
Dewatering Global Pump Company of Davison, Michigan, for the total cost of $44,400, with that company being the low bidder, meeting specifications.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Bospas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item B, under the city manager's report, would provide for the approval of a proposal from Tester Construction Inspection Services to perform testing services for the CSO Phase C3 project. On this item, I've requested our city engineer, Linda Basista, make a presentation and provide a general update regarding the CSO project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners.
Evening, Linda.
Before you, as City Manager Turner said, is a proposal from Al Tester of Tester Construction Inspection Services to perform the testing on the final phase of the CSO control project that has actually started. The proposal is to do the density testing on the sand and gravel, and then density testing on the asphalt. This is just typical requirement, and Al Tester of Testing Construction Inspection Services has been performing this for us on many of the CSO control projects as a subcontract to C2AE. And this year I just asked that that be pulled out of C2AE's contract, and we would contract directly with Al for this service. And so that's why you're just seeing it now as opposed to in C2A's contract that you approved a year ago. His proposal is for $120,034, but it's a time and materials basis, so that's an estimate based on approximately 6 hours a day of testing and throughout the 2-year construction project. It is important, you know, we do have to have the service, and it is part of the original CSO budget. So it's within, that's the amount that was originally budgeted for this activity, and it's approximately 1% of the construction contract, which is a typical amount for this service. Regarding the CSO construction, demolition has begun. It started Friday, and then their machine broke down that is pulverizing the pavement, so they got that back up and running for Johnston Street today. And so Dawson has been between Ashman and Bingham, and Johnston between Spruce and Maple and Cedar is part of this first starting this first streets to start. And they will start digging on Wednesday. Tomorrow they'll continue with removals, curb removal, and so forth. And they actually will start digging and installing pipe on Wednesday. So it does look kind of intimidating out there. It always does when construction starts. Even I pulled up and went, wow, we've got a lot going on. But it takes a while for everyone to get used to the adjustment to traffic, and we do our best to give people a heads up on what's going to be taking place and what streets and intersections will be closed, so you can avoid the area or try to weave your way around. But we appreciate the patience of the traveling public, and if there's any issues, they can call my office, and the information regarding the CSO project is on our website at www.siouxcity.com, and under CSO C3, and the schedule is there, frequently asked questions, and we will be placing as we go progress in updating the schedule.
Any questions of Linda Basista? Thank you. City Manager?
Well, I certainly appreciate Linda's work on this, as well as the community's patience and understanding throughout the project.
Okay, great. Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes, I would move the manager's recommendation.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Bospas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item C under the city manager's report would provide for the approval of a collective bargaining agreement between the city and the police command bargaining unit. As laid out in the memorandum, city administration and the police command bargaining unit have successfully negotiated an agreement between both parties with an effective date of July 1st, 2011 and an expiration date of June 30, 2015. The time period covered by this agreement reflects the fact that the bargaining unit has been working under the terms of an expired agreement up until this point in time due to a variety of circumstances. It's currently anticipated that negotiations on a successor agreement will begin in the near future, provided the presented agreement is approved by the City Commission. Significant changes contained within the proposed agreement follow. The inclusion of a 1.75% wage increase to become effective on July 1st, 2014 on a retroactive basis. The inclusion of language in Section 211 of the agreement that provides for the expediting of grievances in certain instances. The inclusion of language in Section 510 of the agreement that provides that all compensation payable to members of the unit will be made via direct deposit. The inclusion of language in Section 8.8 of the agreement that provides additional flexibility to bargaining unit members regarding their receipt of defined post-employment health care stipends. The inclusion of language in Section 9.2 of the agreement that clarifies the types of notices that may be posted by the union. The inclusion of language in Section 9.6 that increases the footwear stipend from $100 per annum to $150 per annum. The inclusion of language in Section 910 of the agreement that clarifies the communication of complaints against officers. The inclusion of language in Section 922 that provides for the city and unit to meet regarding revenue sharing and the attainment of the same by the city should conditions in state law occur. And the inclusion of language in Section 10.2 and 10.3 of the agreement that provides for the future renegotiation of the agreement, as well as the potential reopening of the agreement if such reopening should become necessitated by decisions made by the PEHP board. The administration would like to express its sincere appreciation to the members of this bargaining unit and all the employees of the city for their continued professionalism and service. Accordingly, it's my recommendation that the City Commission approve the collective bargaining agreement negotiated between the City of Sault Ste. Marie and the Police Command Officers Bargaining Unit as presented and negotiated by both parties. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gary.
I would so move the city manager's recommendation.
Support.
It has been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Torty?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
That concludes the City Manager's report. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Item number 6 is a status report.
The status report on the agenda pertains to the 2015 spring cleanup programs. The city would like the public to know that there are a number of programs that will be underway as winter has subsided. First, the city voucher program for the disposal of refuse is currently in effect. Between now and June 30, residential property owners can obtain a $25 voucher for the Dafter Sanitary Landfill from the city clerk's office. These vouchers are available between 9 and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday on regular business days. Secondly, the 2015 curbside leaf pickup program will take place from May 11th through May 15th. Again, the 2015 curbside leaf pickup will take place from May 11th until May 15th. As a reminder, leaves should be raked into piles at the side of the curb by 7 a.m. on May 11th. Loose leaves only will be picked up by the street department, and no bagged materials or brush will be picked up. Additionally, alleys are not used for leaf pickup. Thirdly, the yard waste disposal city composting facility will open for the season on May 11th, Monday, provided ground conditions behind the complex permit. Expanded compost facility hours will be in effect during the week of May 11th, with the compost yard being open Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 7 a.m. until 1 p.m., Wednesday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturday from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. The schedule that's on the screen in front of the commission and viewable by viewers at home will be posted to the city website for their point of reference. And finally, the citywide cleanup day will be held on Saturday, May 16th from 9 a.m. until noon. A picnic will follow at Sherman Park Pavilion for all of the participants. This will kick off the Beauty of the Sioux Depends on You campaign for 2015. Contact Becky Bottrell, whose efforts we appreciate, at the Sault Ste. Marie EDC at 906-632-5779 to sign up for this year's spring cleanup. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, just a comment too. I see the hazardous waste was up there, and that's an important item. First is May 16th, and it's by appointment only, and that's, folks that need to get rid of oil from, old lawnmowers or old snow blowers and that kind of stuff, or any other kind of hazardous waste paint, and much more that homeowners have. You should call the that number. Where is the number on that? Is it
632. Yeah.
There it is. There.
632-0525.
To schedule an appointment. Okay. I just want to mention that because that is an important feature that we have, and it's free of charge. Okay. Anyone else? Commissioner Tuardi.
I think also along with that, because that used to be my committee, you can have large items picked up also, I believe, with that appointment, like mattresses and things like
Really?
that. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. So that's next week, the leaf pickup for 1 week, 11th through the 15th. And right now, there's an awful lot of leaves on streets, on curbs, and they should be, in case of rains, we like the leaves behind the curb instead of on the street. If you could remember that, it at least allows the rainwater to get to the catch basins. But we'll try and get those in 1 week. And then, of course, the annual citywide spring cleanup on the 16th of May. The commission will meet at 7:30 in our normal Frank's place, and then we'll go take care of West Portage. Okay? Okay. Item number 7, matters presented by the public. Is there anyone in the audience like to make a comment at this time? If you would identify yourself for the record, we'd appreciate it, ma'am.
My name is Lynn Farnquist. I am Secretary for Families Against Narcotics.
Oh, okay.
And I'm here we'll do a couple things. I want to thank you for the city's support of our different activities and events in the past. And I'd also like to invite each of you and anyone you can bring along to participate in a walk that's coming up on May 20th. It's a Wednesday. And that week, the week of May 17th to the 23rd, is actually National Prevention Week. And FAN is partnering with the Health Department. And on the 20th, which is actually the day designated during that week to raise awareness about opiate and prescription drug abuse. On the 20th, we're going to be participating in a walk, and hopefully we can get all kinds of community members and groups involved in this to show that we want things to be better, and that Sault Ste. Marie is going to stand up and make it known that we recognize the problem and we want to do something about it. So the event itself will start at the Avery Square, and there'll be a short route which will take walkers through the downtown area, and it'll finish back at Avery Square. The first 75 people who show up will get free t-shirts, and there'll be some refreshments after the walk. We're calling this Community Awareness Walk the Voice of One and the Power of All. We recognize, and we know that you recognize too, that it's going to take everybody working together to really do something about this problem. And it's not a problem that just Sault Ste. Marie has, it's all over. So I am here to invite you to participate. And also Karen Senkus at the Health Department is the contact person. She is the the person involved in the Prevention Service Program and Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition. She would be the contact person, and she couldn't be here tonight, but she wanted me to tell you that if you wanted to contact her, she could give you more information about the Awareness Week itself, and also supply you with flyers. I don't know if it's possible for you to put this on your website or not, but if you could put that up and advertise that, that would be spectacular. So anyway, thank you very much, and we hope to see you there on the 20th. It's 5:30 at Avery Center. That's where it's going to start, and hopefully we'll have a big crowd to show support of this very good cause.
So the week of the 17th through the 23rd?
23rd is National Prevention Week.
Okay, if
Right.
you would want to get the information to our city clerk, we could probably do a proclamation, because we meet that Monday night
Oh,
on
excellent.
the 18th. And if we had someone here to present it to, we would present a proclamation with the information that you provide to the clerk.
Oh, that would
Okay,
be
and then we,
great.
again, I mentioned the fact that you'll be having that walk on that following Wednesday. So people listening at home, it might get the word out, so more people would show up.
Okay, we
Okay.
appreciate it very
Sure.
much.
Well,
Thank you.
we all understand FAN and the Families Against Narcotics. You've been involved now for about, what, 3 or 4 years in the
No,
community?
just two. We're
Just-
just starting
just-
our third year here.
Third year, okay.
Right.
And you have a number of things going on in the community that you raise funds for, awareness for, and that stuff, and continue the great job that you do.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
So just to clarify?
Sure.
That's May 20th at 5:30, right?
Yes, at Avery Square at 5:30.
Do you want me to leave this flyer? I'm sure Karen can,
Okay. Thanks again. Anyone else? If you identify yourself for the record, we'd appreciate it. Yes, I do.
My name is Donald Kelly. I would like to start out by thanking everybody up here for their service to Sault Ste. Marie. Thank you, Mr. Gage, for stepping into the vacancy. I appreciate all your efforts. Currently, I'm working with a friend of mine, currently living in Boston. She's originally from Sault Ste. Marie. And I'm working with Mr. Nepper and Eagle Radio. We're organizing a Slash Ashman night. And hopefully, down the road, if this is successful, we want to turn it into an annual event. What it basically is everybody looks at their past around here, and everybody has slashed Ashman. I don't know anybody who hasn't. And
It used to
that
be a
seemed
real
to
problem at one time, and thank goodness that went away, but now we're gonna try and get back into it,
I lived
eh?
on it.
Yeah.
And we kind of want to rekindle that spirit. We're looking to get people into the downtown area on that evening. It'll be July 3rd from 7 to 9. We're looking to get street vendors. We're working, Uper Dogs is signed on to sell their wares along. We've got lots of ideas and kind of make it a festival. And just to draw people in downtown, have a little fun on that night. What we're looking for the commission is just your support, anything you can do to help us along with this. And, you know, maybe make us aware of any pitfalls or anything you can do to help us along would be appreciated. We want to have a lot of fun with this. It's no cost to the city. And I think it'll be something real fun going forward.
It's a great idea. You're working with Justin Nepper of our Downtown Development Authority? Then good, okay.
We met earlier today and hammered out some details and where we want to go forward. I'll be holding court at Sioux Brewery after the meeting if anybody wants to join me and ask questions. We'll go forward from there.
Commissioner
Unpaid
Tuardi.
announcement.
Not a paid announcement. Just a comment. I think it's a great idea. This was like a huge part of my teenage years, and my children, probably Oliver, you don't even know what this means. And I was a teenager in the 80s, and so that's when I think it became like the biggest problem, and that's when the city had to do something about it. But we could encourage the business owners to stay open a little bit later that night, and maybe even hold some sales or have some festivities or something going on.
That was part of the meeting we had today. Justin's going to work with the businesses downtown, see if they'd be willing to stay open, tie in sales, get people out on the sidewalks. I believe he's going to talk to the Sioux Theater, maybe have a movie shown that night, with the theme American Graffiti or Dazed and Confused, a movie with the same theme that we're trying to accomplish here. Like I say, we've got some ideas, maybe street musicians, street performers, and get people onto the sidewalks as well as the streets. We have a Facebook page made up for it. It's called Let's/Drag Ashman. Feel free to visit us, leave comments. We have over 350 people committed. Well, they say they're going to show up with another 144 babies. So even if we get half, that's 250 cars running around up and down Ashman Street, and people flowing, and people having a good time.
Commissioner Gage?
Don, will you Facebook me all the details? Because I will help you out with all this stuff so that my generation can actually experience slashing Ashman.
I'd be more than happy to.
There we
I'll
go.
send you a link.
I'd be more than happy. And then when you're holding court, I've never been to Sioux Brewing Company. Where's that at? No, I'm just kidding. Never been there once in my life.
Breadcrumbs.
There we go.
Any support that the commission can give us would be deeply appreciated. And
The
thank you.
city attorney would like the Clark gas station to reopen at 31.9 cents a gallon.
Can we bring back Togos for the night?
Yeah. Talk to Marquette.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck. Thanks, Don. Anyone else? Okay, item number 8, matters presented by the City Commission. Commissioner Twitty.
Always have to give the little hockey update. So lots of hockey hearts were breaking on Saturday night, unfortunately, when the Sioux Eagles finished their playoff series with valiant effort. They did really great. And then also our friends to the north, the Sioux Greyhounds, who had an amazing team this year. They finished their playoff series too, and I think people over there are still pouting. But they had such a fantastic season this year. If you didn't get to see a Greyhounds game, I just want to award them and say thank you to them. We do still have one hockey team in the area that are doing fantastic. That's the Sioux Thunderbirds, also across the river. And they are moving on, I believe, to, it's the final series. So I believe they're moving to the National Cup, right?
Is that the Dudley Hewitt? Is that the Dudley Hewitt?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And then a little bit more information. I talked to Coach Bruno today, and as you guys already know, there have been a lot of rumors flying around about the Sioux Eagles, and if it hasn't been in the newspaper, it will be in the newspaper very soon. But they will be around next year. They are dropping back to the NOJHL group. But Coach Bruno has no interest in going anywhere. So we can hopefully put all those rumors to bed that the Eagles are.
Yeah, we have not been, that I know, officially notified of that yet. That was a possibility, which I will let them make the announcement.
Yeah.
Thanks. Anyone else?
I did just want to say,
Commissioner Gage.
did just want to say a brief thank you to Oliver Turner, Jim Morrow, Chief Riley, Linda Basista, Dan Wires, all the folks that did my city orientation tour. It was fascinating. I learned a lot. I think probably my least favorite part was the wastewater treatment plant for obvious reasons. And my most favorite part was the water treatment plant because I was able to go down into one of the deep water filters that was doing routine maintenance. So it was a lot of fun, and I appreciate everybody, all the great city staff. We've got some great people that keep our city running, so really appreciate it. It was a great day.
Great. Commissioner Lynn.
Your Honor, have anyone considered, staff, of sending a congratulation letter to Johnstown, Pennsylvania, who won the Hockeyville?
Oh, they did?
Pretty good idea.
Did somebody?
No.
'Cause we did make the top 4, and everybody
We
worked
made the top
their-
2 in the East.
In the East, yeah. But
Can
I think we
certainly
should challenge them to a brawl.
Support.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll send them a
We can send them
congratulations.
both.
That'd be a good
yeah,
idea.
you know, what's it
Yeah.
cost?
Yeah, good idea. Sure.
It was an exciting time for everybody here.
Yeah.
My heart was broken until Linda Hoth called me and cheered me up. So everybody really pulled together. And we went against a county that's 160,000 people, but we're 36,000. They had 1,500 websites. We had 50.
Wow.
So I thought we did pretty damn good.
We did really well when you consider, and we talked about that at the Puller, at the Eagle game on Friday night, that there were over 40,000 letters that were submitted initially, and Ron Melport submitted a letter, and Linda Hoth and the Convention and Visitors Bureau actually wrote the application that was accepted by Kraft Hockey and Ron's letter as one of the top 10 where people started voting. so that we're going to do something when we do the rededication of the puller in Octoberish, about a plaque honoring those two individuals and the Convention Visitors Bureau, and having the copy of the letter included in that. So just so the commission's aware that we're going to put that in the puller. So that really is something when you consider small town, top 4 in the nation, and top 2 the eastern United States. We were the second. We were right there. I mean, it was just one away. So anyway, we lost to the eventual winner, and we'll send them a congratulatory letter. Great. Anyone else?
With that, Your Honor, move to adjourn this meeting.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.